Hey, what's up? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music that I've never heard before as a musician myself. Today I'm going to be doing a platinum support request on Patreon for Fly. This is Zero no Kiseki, and the song is called Formidable Enemy. This game is also called The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. I've had a lot of cool music from this game, and I'm just going to get right into it now. Great start. Metal will never not be cool. Super arranged version. I'm not sure what that means. It's just a flash fest. It reminds me of Guilty Gear. I'm gonna start watching people play this game since I have no time to play games. Because the soundtrack is crazy. Sick. It's just shredding right now. Oh, I love the organ roll. Power metal. Nice. It's very lively, like it would be a live setting. This is a sick riff. Power metal goodness from beginning to end without any sort of slowing down in sight. So my first question to the fans of the series is, I've noticed this, and I think it's Etrian Odyssey, they share this thing called like a super arrange. I'm not sure what that means, but I see it often, so I'm guessing there's just multiple. My assumption is there's multiple versions of this song, but whatever super means. The song is really cool. It was a complete like thrash power metal fest, and it reminded me of a song that I reacted to before from Dragon Ball Fighters. I think it's Android 21's theme. It's pretty similar, but that's actually one of, I think I said that was like in my top 10. So yeah, kind of reminded me of that, the whole thrashy, upbeat shred fest. But in that one, I don't think there was a lot of shredding, but kind of the same energy. Also, this has just your quintessential power metal formula of the drums pretty much going non-stop, and it's just a bunch of, it's always like, it's just very centered around the guitars, right? Very rhythmic guitars. The bass is obviously following along, mostly the guitars instead of the drums. And the name of the game is guitar harmonies. So one plays something, the other one plays a third or a fourth or a fifth above it, playing basically the same thing, but just kind of has this more like, I guess, like a laser-like sound. There's something that has to be said about these kind of songs, which is in no way like something negative, just something that has to be said. And as cool as power metal is, and these kind of songs exist, but I feel like if you hear one of these, you've heard kind of all of them. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. It's just a bunch of same repeating drum patterns, and it's just it seems like a almost endless loop. And it's so interesting because I love this stuff so much, and yet I find myself within like 2 minutes just kind of being like, well, what else is going to happen, or something like that. So for me, this is more like you need the gameplay, and standalone is good, just a little repetitive, and I think that's just a fair assessment. But the good news is that it reminded me of like a kind of love child of Bravely Default, Guilty Gear, what's the other one? Blaze Blue, and like Xenoblade. And I love all those. So there's only so much you can do when, it's instrumental and stuff. And again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm critiquing it too harshly. It's just, it kind of shares the same fate as some orchestral music in video games, where they kind of just all blend together. But what makes them special is indeed the scene where it's attached to, the gameplay it's attached to, the fight it's attached to, all these things leading up to that point in the game of the music playing. So it's kind of interesting because I'm in a very interesting spot that a lot of people don't get to experience, where I listen to stuff blindly for the first time without context and just pretty much listening to a song by itself. And as someone who plays games, or used to a lot, it's needed. Some songs may not hold up without the context, and I think that's just the reality that I wasn't, I guess, prepared for, but totally acceptable. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can see it if I showed someone some games that I liked, or songs that I liked, for them to react to, and they don't know what it's attached to. I could see how you're like, I could see how the disconnect would be there. I'm like, oh no, you have to know what's happening here and all that stuff. So it's an interesting phenomenon, but don't mistake my saying that it's repetitive as a bad notion. It's just something that I'm realizing, like, oh yeah, well this needs context or a visual or something, just to keep it kind of, stimulating when it's just repeating over and over and over. Not a bad thing though. Cool song. Formidable Enemy, which I'm guessing is actually, I don't think, in this case I wouldn't say it's a boss. I'm just guessing. I would say that it's more of just a battle theme, maybe one that repeats a lot through the game. Kind of how, well, right now I have Final Fantasy in my head because I just played it, but kind of how like the battle theme of that one just plays every time you have a random encounter type of thing. That's what I get from it. So, which again, in case I'm imagining it like that. So if this was like a random encounter song that I would hear all the time, then that's dope, because then you got that going along with the action of the game. So yeah, it totally makes sense. Ignore everything I said. Song's cool. Thank you, Fly, for that request. If you want to do the same thing, you can do so on Patreon or PayPal, and those are guaranteed ways that I will check out your request, a VGM request. If you do not want to wait, there is the Platinum tier, And that pretty much gets your request to the very top of the list and all your outstanding ones as well. A big shout out to Fly, Justin, Orange, Roguemonk, Vincent, Jester, Kevin, Thomas, and Moon Knight for being supporters. Thanks to everyone here that you see on the side, and thanks to you, the Trails, the Legend of Heroes fans, and also the Zero no Kiseki fans. I know it's 2 different names, but the music in this game is super rad, and I cannot wait to hear more. So until next time, dudes and dudettes, my name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. Stay metal.